All right. You're all welcome. So in our previous sessions, we look at how to write a CV, how to job search techniques. So today we're going to be looking at job interview preparation. I know some of us already have a job, but at some point you might need to switch job. Or for those that are not yet employed, so this can be useful to you. Okay, so let's go ahead. I hope you have your questions. So when I'm done, you are free to I'll allow you to ask questions if you have any. So when we talk about job interview preparation, so what and what do we need to bear in mind? So we start with what is job interview. So a job interview is a formal meeting. So it's usually a formal meeting between a job candidate and a potential employer. So there are two sides, the person that wants to employ and the person that wants to be employed. And oftentimes, it could be the company employing directly, or they can outsource it to a recruiting agency. So whether it is the recruiting agency or the company employing directly, there are two sides, the potential employer and the job candidate. And this meeting is formal. So it's conducted to assess the candidate suitability for a specific position. So they are trying to use that interview to test or to check whether this candidate is best suited for the role. And most of the time, it's more than one person that will be interviewed. And for you to even qualify for the interview, it means they must have screened your CV, except these exceptional cases where you don't even have to show your CV. Somebody just recommend you and they just interview you. That might be possible, but most times you have to get your CV first, screen it, then invite you for interview afterwards. So the goal is to assess the candidate's suitability for the position. So during the interview, they look at the candidate's skill, how it fits what they are looking for, experience, qualification, personality. So, and they also check whether you fit into their company culture. It's possible that you qualify, you have all the technical skill, but you don't fit into their culture. So that's why they check for all of this. Like I normally jokingly say, that being a graduate is not enough. If it's all about being a graduate, the first graduate to apply, qualify because the person is a graduate. So it means that it takes more than just your qualification to get hired. So it requires you having the right skill, the right experience, the right personality, and of course, the right qualification. So that's a brief definition of what job interview is. Now, for the candidate, which is likely to be you in this case, the job interview is to showcase your ability. It's opportunity for you to learn more about the organization and the role you want to hire for, to determine whether it aligns with your own career goal. So as much as they want to be sure that you fit to their company, you are also checking whether they fit into your own career goal as well. So they are not doing you a favor per se. It's like a contract. It's a win-win. As much as they don't want to hire the wrong person, you also don't want to commit yourself to the wrong organization because of the time research you must have committed into it. Now being hired and you now discover that this is not the kind of company you want to work with. So that'll be a waste of your time. So you're also trying to assess whether it aligns with your goal. So that's why I don't believe that every job interview must result in getting the job. If along the line you discover that, oh, this is not the right organization for me, you can choose not to proceed, except you choose to go ahead as a stepping stone for other ones. That's fine. But I just want you to know at the back of your mind that they are not doing you a favor to hire you. It's a win-win situation. So they are considering that will it be a win for us? They're also considering will it be a win for you. I've turned out different companies They are willing to pay me, but because they don't align with what um my target audience, I told them that I cannot proceed. They was okay, we will increase the money we'll pay you. I said no. And this is not pride. It's just that I are the kind of people I want to work with. So if any organization doesn't align with it, I'm willing to let them go. It's not just about the money for me. And because I have this mindset, my approach is different. When I'm negotiating, I'm able to negotiate better because it's not a do or die. So what are the key components of job interview? So the interviewer and the candidate, they introduce themselves. Oh, can we meet you? Or they introduce, the panel introduce themselves. Oh, I'm so, I work in so department, or I'm the HR. We are into this and that. So can we meet you as well? So it start with introduction, both the interviewer and the interviewee. Then after that, there are a series of questions that are being asked. So the interviewer will start asking the candidate several questions that may have to do with the background of the candidates, the skill set of the candidates, the experience of the candidates. And this question revolve around areas like behavioral question. They want to know how you have behaved in certain situations in the past. So they can use that to judge how you will behave when you work with them. Some may even ask you about your past employer or why you leaving your past job. They want to know why you are leaving so that whether that situation will be why you are going to leave them as well. So that's why when they say, okay, why do you want to leave your current job? You say, oh, my employer is a very bad person and this and that. They are likely to feel that, oh, you are likely to say the same thing about them afterwards. Even if your employer is a bad employer, you shouldn't really water down where you are. You can just say that I discovered that the organization no longer fit into um, your career goal in the sense that it's no longer you're no longer getting inspired. Just let them know that it's no longer fitting to a place where you aspire to be. So not necessarily because your employer is a bad person and all of that, even though the person is a bad person. So behavioral question is one of them. The other one is technical question. So this is where your SQL, your Python, come into play. They will test you in that area as well. Then we also have situational question. So they will paint a scenario and say, for example, the company have an emergency task for you to do. And your family also have an emergency task for you. How will you handle that situation? You don't want to paint that, scenario and see how you're going to handle it. So they may ask you a question like that deliberately to see how you respond. They also ask questions to see whether you fit into their culture. So if there are people that work as team, so they may be asking a question that relate to teamwork. So if you are the person that says, oh, I like working alone, I don't like working with people. If they ask you, okay, if your team member, they are not cooperating, how will you handle the situation? You tell them, I'll leave them alone and just do it all by myself. They will know that, oh, you are not a team player. So you won't fit into their company value, their company culture. So those are areas they ask questions. Then also they may ask you, do you have any question for us? Oftentimes people say no because we feel that I don't have question or I don't want to ask anything. That is a good time for you to even bring up your own question to be sure it's a good fit for you. So I will tell you some of the questions you can ask to clarify if they are good fits. Then the closing. So after the question has been asked and from both parties, then they can put an end to the interview. So that's the components of what an interview entails. So type of interview. So we have the one-on-one interview where only one person is interviewing the candidate. So there are situations like that. We have panel interview where there are team of people interviewing the candidate, maybe 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, depending on the role and the size of the organization. So HR will be asking from the HR perspective. The technical person will be asking questions based on technical perspective, and maybe other people that are necessary, to be on the panel. Then there's also group interview. That may not be too common, but it's also possible that the interview is done in form of group, especially if the role require teamwork. So they want to see whether which of the candidates are able to flow along as a team. There's also phone interview where you will be called on phone and they'll be asking you a question. There's video interview, especially if it is remote. So they can do Zoom meeting with you, or they can use Microsoft Teams or Google Meet. So you should know how to use these two. I remember somebody asking me how to use Zoom because he has an interview. I was wondering, so you mean you don't know how to use Zoom at this time and age? So if you don't know how to use Zoom, it's not a crime. But if after tonight you don't go and deliberately learn it, then it becomes a crime. So know how to share your screen, know how to, um, do those basic things. Behavioral interview. So there may be some interview that focus on behavior. I've seen situations where people will be taken to invited for lunch. Now the lunch is deliberate. They want to see whether you have eating etiquette, all of those things. So there are interviews like that. Again, depending on the nature of the job. The technical interview, this is the one that is common and popular. So they ask you about the tools you know, the tools you use. So oftentimes, when people move to tech, their focus is this technical interview. Oh, if they ask me to code, I can write all the code, I can do all of that. But it's not just about the technical interview alone. They also test your soft skill, your personality, how you align with the company culture, all of that. And that's where researching the company comes into play. You have to know more about the company so that you can, you know, tailor your responses to, fit into what they are looking for. There are case interview as well, especially in consulting environment. So where they will give you a case, like for example, there's this organization, they are going through these challenges and this is the data. Can you help us, analyze it and, you know, let us know your outcome. There's stress interview as well, where they will put the candidate in a challenging situation to see how they work under pressure. Again, all of these are not what you're going to face. They are just different types of interview. So which apply to different industry, different roles, different levels. So there are entry level, there are mid level, there are senior level roles. So the level may also determine the approach and the size of the organization. So those are different types of interview. So how to succeed at interview? So what are the things you need to bear in mind before you go for an interview? So number one, when you get to the interview question, I'll put the question on the screen. Anybody can answer. So I'll make that one interactive. But for now, let me give you an overview of what you need to know. So number one, understand the role you are applying for and the company you are applying to. So that's why it's important that you research about the company. So whenever you see a job interview and they say, okay, you should fill this form. Most times on that form, they will have the name of the company. Or submit your CV to this email address. Info at, there should be, the name of the website of the company there. Except cases where people use Gmail. Personally, I don't take Gmail serious. Any job that say send it to Gmail. Except if I know who is hiring personally. Okay, so that might convince me. Maybe they don't want to use the official email for whatever reason. But whatever the case may be, it's good to research about the company. So it can help you to know about what their mission, what's their value, what product do they offer. Are there any recent news about them? Did they just release a product? Did they just win funding and all of that? Because they ask you, okay, why do you want to work with us? And you know their mission and vision. So you can align why you want to work with them, to align with their mission and vision. It will strike a chord more. But when you don't even know what their vision is and all of that, when they ask you, you might be saying things that are even, at adjacent to what their vision is. Or if you know about recent news of, about the company, what's going on. Maybe they just merged with another international company or whatever. So when they ask you a question, you can say, oh, just as I discovered that the company just merged with another company X and Y, and with that, I see that there's that will foster more innovation in the organization. And as someone that loves innovation, it's a good fit, for me, something like that. So they know that, oh, this person is even following the trend about our company. It shows that you have interest in the company. So know the job description. So oftentimes you see a list of job description. And if it's not stated, maybe you just say, okay, apply here. You can ask the person, do you have a job description or for the role? So that it will help you to highlight, you know, key areas that you need to bear in mind. So it's a plus if you can know the job description. So where possible, try and get the job description so that I can go through it and the question they're asking you, you can make them to align with the job description. So I've talked about the recent news as well. Industry trend. Then stay up to date with trends in your area. If you're into data analytics, try and know what is the latest. If you're into DevOps, if you're into software, cybersecurity, try and follow blogs, try and follow trends. So that if they ask you about something that is new, you won't be looking at the sky because you are not updated. It is what you learned 4 years ago in 1365. That's the only thing you still know. You don't know that they are now using AI, to do most of the things you do. So it's important to follow trends so that when they ask you certain things, oh, yes, yes, they're able to contribute, something about that. So the first one is understand the role you're applying for and the organization you're applying to. Number two, master technical skills. Like I said, this is the area people just prepare for 100%. So if you're into data analytics, know your Python, know your SQL, know your Excel, your Power BI. If you're into DevOps, know your CI/CD, know your Docker, your infrastructure as code. If you're into software development, know your Python. If you're into other languages, C Sharp, Java, whatever language you're into, brush up before the interview. I remember somebody applied for job at the 365 and I asked the person, how do you write a function in Python? The person could not answer. That was the end of the interview. Just to say def, then the name of the function, parenthesis, colon, then what the function will do. He could not say. It shows that he has not even revised before coming for the interview. If you're into cybersecurity, know your pen testing, your firewall, your encryption, your compliance standards, master the technical skill because this is what you'll be doing when they hire you. For data analytics, even though you're learning SQL, Python, Power BI, Excel, you may not be using all these tools at work. You might just be Excel you'll be using all the time, or Excel and SQL all the time, or Excel and Power BI, or SQL and Power BI. So that's why I said the job description will also help you to know your area of focus. And don't be somebody that prepare for exam a day before. So don't be someone that only when you have interview, you now call Mr. Wale, uh, 12 hours to your interview. "Ah, Mr. Wale, I have interview for DevOps. Can you prepare me?" So you don't prepare for interview like that. Because that time, Mr. Wale might also be busy with other things. So you prepare ahead. If I thought you now want to do like a summary, at least it's not because you have not been preparing. It's just that you want to just revise. So that's number two, master technical skill. Number three, prepare for behavioral question. Like I said, they will ask you behavior related question. And remember what we said at the interview session that we had, the STAR method. Paint a situation. Talk about the task, the action you took, and the outcome. So describe a situation if they ask a behavioral question. Explain your responsibility in that situation. What step did you take? And what was the outcome? So it could be that can you tell us a situation where you have to meet up with a tight deadline? So you have to come up with a situation. Then what was the task? What decision did you make? And how was the outcome? So this Very important. That's number three. Then the next point, showcase project and experience. Like I said, most times you'll have submitted your CV, so you could have put your GitHub link. If you have a personal website or portfolio, you can put it on your CV. And if the role require you, you can demonstrate or showcase your projects at the interview if it's something that is allowed. So you can go with your laptop if necessary, and you can demonstrate. Um, be ready to discuss about the project you have worked on in the course of your work or in the course of your training, in the course of your internship, the challenges, the role you play, the outcome. And if you are someone that have certification, you can also talk about it as well. So like data analytics, you can have Microsoft data analytics certification. For DevOps, you can have Docker, Terraform, Kubernetes. For cybersecurity, you can have ISC square certification, you can have UC Council certification. For software people, there's no really certification for software per se, except you just want to um, just have it. So for software, it's more about the problem you can solve or your BSc in computer related field. So you're someone that doesn't have IT background and you're into software and you're looking at certification to have. I would recommend you get a BSc in either computer science or computer engineering or software engineering. It can even be online. It might not have to be physically, but it's more about the skill, the problem it can solve. So I'm aware that the person that built WhatsApp was rejected. I think it's by Facebook and by Yahoo, something like that. But the same person built WhatsApp afterwards and Facebook acquired it. I'm sure it's not because of his qualification, but because of the problem he can solve. I'm also aware that Microsoft, they eventually hired the person that wrote Python programming. So the problem you can solve is key. Qualification, certification, they are also a plus. But even if you have them and you don't have the problem solving skill, you might still not get hired. Or if you get hired, you might be fired because you are not able to deliver on the job. So that's why it doesn't end after getting the job. In fact, your learning just started. So learning doesn't end that, oh, I've gotten a job, that's the end. No. Because on the job, you need to keep performing and you need to keep upgrading yourself for better opportunity. So you don't stop preparing yourself or upgrading yourself just because you have gotten a job. Number five, practice problem solving skills. Go to websites, solve different SQL related questions, data cleaning, and all of that. Because some interview will give you some task to do. They can give you a dirty data and say, can you clean this data? Or take this data, create a visualization for it. Or you have access to this SQL database. Can you query this and this and bring out this and this? So they may give you this hands-on task. Again, this is not all the time. It depends on the nature of the interview. If you're into DevOps, they can ask you to troubleshoot a particular deployment, or they can ask you to create a pipeline. And in some cases, they may give you as a take-home assignment that you are going to submit at a particular period. It's also possible, depending on the organization. So they may give you as an assignment. They may ask you to do it on the job. For software, they may give you some lead code or hackerrank or code wars question to solve, especially for software engineers. You cannot do without algorithm, data structure, system design, um, task at interview. But if it is software development, so that one, they will just give you some task to solve using programming. If I do cybersecurity, they may give you some platform and ask you how you secure the platform from vulnerability. So they may give you hands-on task. So that's what I'm trying to say. To prepare for something like that. Number six, demonstrate soft skill. Like I said, it's not just about knowing how to code alone. In fact, those that have soft skill, they easily get promoted than those that have only technical skill. If all you know how to do is just coding, you don't know communication, you don't know leadership, you might not get promoted as much as others who have such skill. You might be wondering, how come they are promoting them, they are not promoting you? You are doing fasting and prayer that everybody's sitting on your promotion. It's also because you lack soft skill, like ability to communicate, ability to explain concepts, present to stakeholder. You have done the analysis, can you present it to the stakeholder? Let them know the outcome of your analysis. Ability to work with teams in other departments apart from your own department. Ability to adapt to new environment, new tools, new technology. You learn Python. In the company you are hired, they are using PHP. You are saying, I cannot learn PHP. All I know is Python, and I must use only Python. You can't last in such organization. If I thought they retain you, they will just look for who can adapt and focus on those people. Programming is a language, just like English language, French, German. It's a concept. When you know one language, you can learn another one. So the fact that you learn Python does not mean you cannot learn Node.js or any other one. I've seen someone being hired for Django job. He doesn't know Django at all. In fact, the person, the company where the person was hired, the person that interviewed the person, I was the one that recommended that person for the job. But the person that was hired wasn't one that recommended that one. But the person I recommended that got hired there now became a senior person. He was the one that hired this other person that doesn't have Django experience. And why did they hire the person? Is because the person is able to demonstrate that he knows other language very, very well. Even though those other language is not what they want in that company. What they are looking for is someone that knows Python and Django. But what the person know is Ruby and Ruby on Rails. And he knows it very well because he was able to demonstrate different projects he has done with it. So they felt that if you are truly the one that built this kind of project, you can easily learn Python and Django within 1 week and start, doing something with it. So it should be somebody like that. In fact, they ask you a question that you don't know, you should be able to let them know that, oh, I should be able to come up with that. That shouldn't be a challenge for me as I'm a fast learner. So you should be able to adapt. They watch out for things like that. They want someone that can easily adapt to new tools, new technology, problem solving skill. So they want somebody that can solve problems, that can analyze, that have a critical thinking, that can analyze problem and provide solution. So if you know SQL is there and all of that, and the company is having problem, and outside of your technical skill, cannot even contribute, it won't speak well. So they look out for this at interview. Then be positive. See interview as a, a communication and interaction as against being just on the hot seat. If you see it as hot seat, you will be agitated. I might be saying B instead of A. But when you see it as, oh, these people like me and they want to know how I can help their company. So that make it more of conversational as against um, being on a hot seat. So I usually picture people that are interviewing as my friend. Since I will not be scared of my friend, my heart will not be aching when my friend is talking to me. So definitely. And I've attended some interview where we ended up becoming friends. We even took it beyond formal, discussion. So be positive. Show genuine excitement about the company, about the role, and then be confident in yourself. That's why you should do your own homework by ensuring you know what you are meant to know. Because when they ask you 5 questions, you cannot answer any of them, then you start sweating. But by the time they ask you and you're able to answer them, that also boosts your own confidence as well. Number 7, dressing and composure. One of the research you can do is to know how do people dress in this company. Do they dress casually? Do they dress in a formal way? So if they dress casually, then maybe casual dressing might be allowed. If you dress formally, I would recommend you go formally. But whichever the case, dress appropriately. Don't wear slippers to an interview. It may look funny, but people can do it, especially software people. They feel it's not about my talent, it's not about my ability, it's about how I dress. People judge you by how you dress. Anything that you know might people interpret differently, please avoid it. I've seen somebody posted on social media, why somebody be denied a job because I wore leg chain. Yes, your leg chain is your decision, but at interview, as much as possible, avoid things that people can interpret differently. After the interview, go and wear your leg chain. It's nobody's business. But at interview, God helping you. Person interviewing is a deeper life person. You might just feel that you might not align with their um, company culture. But that's just on a lighter note anyway. If you're a deeper life person, don't take offense. It's just on a lighter note. But the idea is that try and avoid things that can be interpreted differently. Try and avoid wearing dresses that can be revealing. So dress, in a formal or business casual way. Arrive early. So if the interview is 10 o'clock, don't arrive 10 o'clock. Arrive earlier than 10 so that you can be relaxed before the time. If it is online and the interview is 8 o'clock, don't arrive 8 o'clock. Be ready before that 8 and ensure you test your mic, you test your necessary things. Not that when the interview starts, now say, hello, please give me a minute. You are now battling with your microphone, your all of that. So that will not speak well. Maintain eye contact. Don't be looking down or be looking sideways. Maintain eye contact. It shows that this person is confident. Of course, you don't have to now be staring at them, as if they owe you money. So at least just ensure that you are confident, you are not looking shy or bending down because you don't want to look up. Then sit straight. Don't do slouch on the chair as if you are pregnant for 9 months. So sit, confidently, sit straight up. All these things count. Then you can make a gesture to describe, what you are being asked about. Then maintain a smile. Don't just frown as if um, somebody that um, somebody collected your fiancé or your fiance. So smile. Even if they ask you tough question, greet them with a smile. Then you process your answer and you give it to them. So this helps. Number 8, prepare for virtual interview. Like I said earlier, some interview might be on Zoom. So ensure you test your camera, your microphone, your internet connection. It will make sense. You don't know that your internet connection is not okay. And by the time the interview starts, it starts going off and on, off and on. They may get pissed off. And it's something that they want to hire on time. They may not be patient, for you to schedule another one. So test your tech. Then your background. If your room is not a place that is cozy, you can use virtual background. That is not your actual background. That will help you to manage such situation. Use good lighting because they want to see your face. So ensure that you work on your lighting. Then dress professionally. Don't say because you are in your room, you you just dress in a way that is not appropriate. So avoid things like that. And please, if you are married, talk to your partner. Let them know you're having interview at social time. Let them manage the children for you for that period. Afterwards, then you can all go back to, you know. Of course, some interviewer might be understanding, but it just makes sense to avoid unnecessary, interruption. Just like this class now, my children are inside and I'm having my class, without interruption. But imagine them coming every minute. I'm saying, please give me 1 minute. I attend to them. Give 1 minute, it won't make it flow well. But of course, if there's any emergency, that one is understandable. so I can excuse myself and attend to the emergency. But what I'm just trying to say is that as much as possible, try and avoid, distractions. So plan ahead. You already know that interview is also time, so minutes. Plan ahead. So that you yourself can even have confidence, you can also concentrate. If you hear everybody crying at the background, you yourself, your mind will be divided. So if you are married and you have children, that's taking care of that will help. Number 9, know your resume inside out. It doesn't make sense that you are asked question that you wrote inside your CV and you cannot answer. Imagine you wrote there that um you are multitasking, and let's say okay, you wrote in your CV that you are multitasking. Can you explain what you mean by that? And you are just gazing at them. So that's why I don't believe in somebody writing your CV for you. But when somebody is writing it for you, they'll just put their own terminology, their own grammar. But if you are the one that writes it, at least you break it down to something you can defend, something that you understand, something that you can, explain. So even if somebody that writes the CV for you, at least go over it line by line. The one that is not clear, ask the person. If you are not sure, tell the person to remove it. So be able to defend it. The project you put there, they ask, okay, you say you have done a CI/CD. Can you tell us about it? And you are looking. You say you have built e-commerce. Can you tell us the challenges you face? So know your CV inside out. So that they pick any area and they ask you a question, you'll be able to talk. And if you put your work experience and there's a gap and they ask you, okay, you observe that for the past 5 years, you've been out of job. What's, can you explain? I've talked about that under the CV session that we had. So where you tell them what you are doing at that time, maybe to upskill, all of that. You can also do mock-up interview. There are senior people among us, they can interview you, to test, just to test you. Your peers can interview you. Can tell your colleague that that you attended the class together to interview you. You can tell your mentor to interview you. You can tell any HR that you are related to interview you, just to see how you perform. And sometimes you can even apply for a role, even though you don't want that job, just to see how the interview will go, or just to learn. So I've done it before. I don't need the job, I apply. Because I can't be teaching you how to pass interview and I've not attended interview. So I apply and I demonstrated what I'm teaching you, and it's always successful. But in some cases, I didn't need the job. So I had to tell them that I don't need the job. But at least I'm able to confirm that what I claim I know, I actually know it. So you can do mock interview. Beware of red flags. Like I said earlier, job is not a do or die. Of course, I know some of us are desperate, you need money, you are broke, and all of that. I can understand. But at the same time, you don't want to take a job that will make you a slave. But again, it's up to you if you want to take any type of job. But this is just my own opinion. Now, if you notice unprofessional behavior, maybe the interviewer is rude, um, is dismissive, it may reflect the culture of that company, that's how they behave there. Of course, I'm not saying that you should just make up your mind only based on that, but just for you to take notes, that could be the culture in that environment. If the job description is vague, they are not clarifying what the role is about, they are not clarifying things you want to know. So you have to pay attention to that. If they're avoiding answering questions, lack of transparency, take note. So like I said, some people, they will invite you for job, and at the end of the day, you discover that it is multi-level marketing. They want you to come and be selling. There are different, funny experience that people have at interview. So just as I said, don't just be carried away that I want this job by all means. See interview as when you are wooing someone. In the marriage setting, there's something we call courtship or dating. Some people don't pay attention to dating, they just date. Their mind is, let the person just agree and let us just move on. But when you are dating and you need help, the person is rejecting, refusing to help you all the time. When I say help, it doesn't have to be financial help. I mean, maybe you need your documents and you say, oh, can you please help me get my document at home? And the person say, sorry, I won't be able to do that. As another time, you need the person to do something helpful to you. The person is always giving you excuses, they cannot, they cannot. By the time you marry and the person is not helpful, you now be wondering, you make a mistake. But the person has been showing this sign before you even marry. So similar thing with interview. Pay attention to, even the interviewer as well. As much as they want to know you are the right person, you also want to know if they are the right company for you as well. So that you don't also waste your time, your energy, your resources. So stay calm under pressure. So if they ask you a question, don't be too fast to answer. You can take a deep breath, you can, pause for a moment before you answer. So don't see it as you have to do like Frank Kudo that is checking time for you. That if you don't answer within 5 seconds, you are going to lose it. So it's not like that. So relax, be calm. Before the interview, you can listen to your favorite song that will inspire you, that will give you that confidence. If you are somebody that's any song that inspire you the most, listen to it before the interview. Let it put you in that state, a state where you are empowered, a state where you are confident. So focus on the process. Treat the interview as a conversation, like I said, not an interrogation. Often the people see interview as interrogation, they are interrogating you. You are not an armed robber that police is trying to interrogate. You are trying to see if this partnership can work for both parties. It's like want to woo a lady. You won't be panicking. She's not going to beat you. It's like she say yes or no. So then let your personality shine while maintaining um, professionalism. So feel free to express yourself confidently and professionally. Number 13, like I said, you also need to ask them questions. So if they're okay, do you have any question for us? Oh, yes, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask some questions. What does success look like in this role? Meaning that how will you measure that I'm successful in this role? So they want to hire as a data analyst. What would they, how would they measure success in that particular role? So when you hire me, how will you know I'm doing the best that is expected of me? So they can say, okay, how we measure success is that one, being able to meet your KPI, being able to do this, being able to do that. That will help you to know what is expected of you and be able to know whether it's something you can meet up. So you can also ask, can you describe the team I'll be working with? So if it's a larger organization where you'll be working with other team members, so you want to know what kind of people you'll be working with. It can be, okay, you'll be working with our head of IT, you'll be working with the junior developers, you'll be working with the senior developers, you'll be working with junior engineers. You want to have an idea. If it's a small business, maybe only you that will be in that department, at least you are aware. What are the biggest challenges the team is currently facing? So they want to hire you as a data analyst. The current data analyst team member, what are they facing currently? But if they don't have anybody in that role, you're the only one, you're also aware. How does the company support professional development? So when they hire you, how will they ensure that you also grow professionally? Or are you just one that just be contributing alone? The company doesn't have any plan for their own staff. Of course, you will not talk, in a rude manner. But just please, I would like to know, does the company have a plan for professional development for the staff? That I would like to know. Do they organize like professional training, certification? That you just want to know. So if they say that we don't have anything like that, you will know that in that place, it's just for you to contribute and that's all. But they say, okay, yes, we do. We send our staff for training, we do this, we do that. So at least you have an idea of, the opportunity that you prefer. In fact, the pay might even be small, but if the opportunity is more, you can still consider it. Because when that opportunity, it might even be more than the pay, or the opportunity might prepare you for even a greater one that will now pay you what you desire. So it's just that when I get started, I didn't go for a project that pays so high, but at least it gave me that opportunity to master my skill more, then I'm not able to charge my worth. So don't feel that your first job must pay you high salary. If it's not 500K, I will not take it. It doesn't have to be high salary, especially if they provide enabling environments that can help you grow. So to me, that is key. So what's the next step in this interview, in the interview process? So if you are finished interviewing and they ask you, do you have any question? You can say, okay, what's the next step? After now, so you can ask. So those are some of the questions you can ask. And if you have any other one, you are free to ask. And if the way the interviewer is looking like someone that have not been, that's not well kept, that has not been fed for years, that might show you that in that kind of organization, yeah, the staff there are not well to do. So it shows that you yourself might not be well to do by the time you start working for them. So you should follow up with a thank you message within 24 hours. Oh, thank you for interviewing me at your organization today. I really appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to hearing from you as I look forward to contributing to the development of your organization, especially with my skill in this, and that. And anything I'm telling you, don't cram them. Because when you cram and you're saying it, if you forget, it will affect you. So don't cram. Just say it in your own way. So you don't have to say it exactly the way I'm saying it. So following up help because it keep you as at the top of their mind. It's like you visit the website and you're not seeing the advert everywhere. It make you, to have them at the top of your mind. So depending, after a week, you can send another mail. They are just trying to follow up because you really look forward to working with the organization. Even if you have any plan of what you intend to do, you can state it there if it's appropriate. If not, just let them know that you are following up. You can connect with their staff on social media, on LinkedIn, so that you read up about the organization, if possible. But don't overdo it as well. Don't be too desperate. Let there be a balance. All right. Common interview question. I know question time. This is what people will ask me about. If they ask me this, how should I answer? If they ask me this, how should I answer? So let's talk about them. Like I said, I will allow you to answer then before I give my own feedback. So anybody can volunteer to answer it. So the one that I can never escape is this one. Tell us about yourself. How will you answer this? Any volunteer? Before I give you my own response. There's no right or wrong answer. You can just say it in your own way. Anybody, tell us about yourself. How will you answer this question? See, people preparing for interview, you are not even bold to express yourself. No volunteer. Or is my mic not working again? Tell us about
Hello,
yourself.
sir.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead.
No, okay, should I actually answer or
You
I
are at
should just state
interview. I'm the
how
one
the
interviewing
order?
you. Tell us about yourself.
Ah, mm.
I hope your
Okay,
network is not disappear. Okay, go ahead.
okay, let me say, for example, now you are, I should answer as though I'm at an interview, right?
I've already answered you. I am interviewing you right now. And I'm
Hello?
asking you, tell me about yourself.
Ah, hello?
Yes, I'm interviewing you and I'm asking you, tell me about yourself.
I'm really having network issues. Yeah.
You see why I said
Hello,
this
sir. Can I
earlier,
speak?
that
Okay.
always work on your network.
Hello, sir. Can I speak?
Okay, hold on. Let the best
Okay,
speak.
okay. My name is Caleb Osage. I'm actually a graduate of Delta State University. Yeah.
Yeah, can I speak?
Yes, go ahead. So this is why I
Okay.
said test your internet, all of that. Okay, go ahead, the best.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Assis Ibrahim. I'm a data analyst with over 1 year experience in analyzing and visualizing data. I do this to drive businesses' decisions. Currently, I work as an inventory officer and a data analyst, where I have successfully developed dashboard and automated reports in Power BI, Excel, and always, most of the time, I use conditional formatting in order to solve the company issues. I also have worked on notable projects, including global salary analysis, car sale data analysis, campaign performance, bike sales analysis. My experience lies in data visualization trends, trend analysis, and creating actionable insights that align with business objections. I'm highly organized, detail-oriented, and skilled at simplifying complex data for stakeholders. I'm excited about this opportunity because your company value data-driven strategies, and I'm confident that my skills and my experience can contribute to your teams. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think Mr. Iyo have job for you already with the way you introduce yourself. I hope you are not reading it from book to me because at interview you will not have access to that book. So if you say that from your heart, then that's a brilliant one. So that's an excellent one. And you talk confidently. I like that. Again, you don't have to rush yourself. I'm talking to everybody now. Take your time. You don't have to rush it. You know, take it at your pace. And what I'm going to read to you is not cast in stone. So you don't have to see it exactly as I'm going to show you. It's just an example. So tweak it, tailor it to your own uniqueness. So when they ask you, tell me about yourself or tell us about yourself, what they want to know is a concise summary of your background, your skill, and why you are a good fit for the role. That's why they ask you this question. So don't say I am from Delta State. I am the fourth born of the family of 7. They don't care about that. So you just want to know your skill and why you're a good fit for the role. So you can start with your current role or your most relevant experience. You can highlight the key skills and achievements. You can connect your experience to the job that you're applying for. Then keep it simple, like 2 minutes thereabout. You don't have to talk for 10 minutes, tell us about yourself. Any other thing they want to know, they will ask you. So just summarize. Here is an example. It is an example. Don't go and cram this. And that day when you are saying it and you forget what I wrote in the second line, they will know you cram it. I am a data analyst with experience specializing in Python, SQL, data visualization like Power BI. In my previous role, I developed dashboard that improved decision making by 20%. I am excited about this opportunity because I see how my skill align with your company's focus on data-driven strategies. So it may be something short. So if they want to know other things, they can ask. So again, you don't have to write it exactly how I'm saying it. This is just an example. So the most important thing is tell them about yourself, your skill, your qualification, your experience, and how it apply to the role you're applying for. So you don't want to know your hometown and all of that. That's not what they mean by tell us about yourself. So I believe that is clear to everybody. If it's not during question time, you can ask. So that's the first one. You cannot escape this one. In fact, that's the first thing they will ask you. Tell us about yourself. I once did a training on job interview for a church, and I asked the members, tell me about yourself. And the guy was saying what he crammed in his head. By the time he's done, I said, did you cram it? He said yes. Because I knew. When somebody is talking freely and somebody crams something, the way they will talk will be different. Because if they cram, they are trying to remember how they cram it word for word. But if they are talking freely, they are able to express themselves. So you can say this again and again to yourself till you are confident about it. And because you don't cram it, even if you forget it, you can say it in another way. But when you cram, when you forget, just like debates, you just pause there because you don't remember the next line. So this is what we want to know when they say tell me about yourself or tell us about yourself. The second question, why do you want to work with us? Any volunteer? Why do you want to work with us? Why do you want to work with us? Even if your answer is wrong, it doesn't matter. Any volunteer, why do you want to work with us? Nobody want to know. Nobody know why they want to work with the company. So how do you want them to give you the job? Hello. We are doing our own mock-up already. Why do you want to work with us? Okay, I should just rush through it since you don't want to respond.
Hello. Excuse me,
Yes, I
sir.
can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, I want to work with this company because my skills have developed skills that will be put to good use in the role that I'm applying for in the company. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. I just want to see how you will respond if you are being asked. Again, the one I'm going to share with you is not cast in stone. It's just a sample. So if you're asked, why do you want to work here or why do you want to work with us? They want to know your motivation and how well you know about the company. So example, you can mention specific aspects of the company, why you want to work with them. So if you know about the company culture, if you know about their mission, if you know about the project they are into, you can say it that's why you want to work with them. You can connect your skill and your goal to the particular role that you're applying for. Example would be, I admire your company's commitment to innovation in cybersecurity. I am particularly excited about the opportunity to work on your threat detection team as it aligns with my experience in penetration testing and passion for securing systems. So this is someone applying for cybersecurity role. So if it's data analytics, you can tweak it to your needs. If it's software, if it is DevOps, you can tweak it to your need. I'll still use DevOps as an example as well. I'm just trying to mix them up. So you admire the company's commitment to innovation, and you are particular about the opportunity to work on their threat detection team because it aligns with your experience in penetration testing. So that's convincing enough. And again, if you don't know how to answer, tell ChatGPT. It will give you suggestions. You can tell it to give you 10 ways to respond to why do you want to work with us, or 10 ways to respond to tell us about yourself as a data analyst. Then the ones it give you, look at the one that align with you and use that one. And again, you don't have to cram it. Just know what to say. Question 3. What's your greatest strength? Anybody? I may not have time to be doing mock-up interview for everybody. That's why I'm using this opportunity to let us give our feedback. What's your greatest strength? If you ask, how will you answer?
Can I go ahead, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me, sir?
Has this already started? So let's see.
Okay, I want to use Tech 365 as my case study.
Go ahead.
Can I go on, sir?
Yes, go
Okay, I
ahead.
want to use Tech 365 as my case study. My greatest strength is my ability to simplify complex concepts and make them easy to understand, which align perfectly with Tech 365's mission on teaching and empowering individuals with technology skills. My expertise in data analysis and visualization, combined with my passion for sharing knowledge, enable me to efficiently communicate technical insights in a way that learner can grab and apply to the real world solution. So by doing so, the Nigeria will be the best way for the technology.
I just hope you are not reading this from ChatGPT to me. So that's a brilliant one. Caleb, you still want to answer?
I want to
Caleb,
Um,
answer too.
okay, let me try, sir.
go ahead.
Okay. My greatest strength is that I pay attention to details, and I am also I'm very resilient, and I am also persistent. I love to, see through a project to the end, and I'm also a fast learner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, uh,
that's a brilliant one. See, you don't have to say
So
you
what
I
say
other
can
what?
people are saying.
You
Okay,
say
somebody
what,
want to
sir?
say
Sorry.
something. I mean,
I want to answer too.
yeah, go ahead.
All right. I believe my greatest strength is being able to work with teams. I've led several teams in my previous projects. I'm able to empathize. I'm able to like find another solution when it comes to maybe the first plan got damaged. Then I need to like find an alternative. I'm good with that. And I also know how to communicate with people. I know how to tell people you are wrong. I know how to tell people you are right. I know how to get very strict with people, and I know how to lower my ego with people. So I love working with teams, and I believe with that I can be with of a good assistant to the company.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So the first thing to talk about is ability to impart knowledge. Second person talk about is being resilient. The third person talk about teamwork. You can see it's just his strength, and everybody answer differently, and they are all correct. So don't think you must say everything in a particular way. Your strength will be different from other people's strength. But how you now communicate it to them and make it something worthwhile, that's key. And I have my reason why I'm letting you answer, as against you just watching me talk. Because you just responding also build your confidence as well. So that's why I'm deliberately allowing people to answer. So, example. So they want to know how your strengths align with the job requirement. So choose a strength relevant to the role you are applying for. Like software, teamwork is essential. Data analysis, being resilient is essential. Paying attention to detail is essential. So you can see. So your strengths should align. Provide specific example to back it up. So give a scenario, you know, how that strength was, applied. So we say you are resilient, you pay attention to detail. So you can give a scenario. Oh, I remember at several points where I was working on machine learning projects, and the accuracy score will be low. So I will be persistent to ensure that I tweak it, I remove noises, I ensure that it doesn't overfit, give scenario. You work with teams. Oh, I remember at different occasions where the team will work on the software. After we deploy, it will not, there'll be a lot of errors. So I will have to, work with the team to ensure that we get it fixed. Sometimes we even stay beyond the required closing hour, just to ensure that we get it fixed. So give a practical example. So example, my greatest strength is my problem solving ability. For example, in my last role, I identified a bottleneck in our data pipeline and implemented an automated solution using Python, which reduced processing time by 30%. So you can see problem solving skill. And an example was given. how problem-solving skill was demonstrated, and how it impacted the organization. 4, what is your greatest weakness? I know everybody will be quiet here now. What's your greatest weakness?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Aziz, go ahead.
My greatest weakness is ability of not to finish the work at the appropriate times.
All right. Any other person?
Okay, so let me answer. My greatest weakness is the fear of not delivering an accurate job. That's for me personally, that's actually my own greatest weakness, that fear.
All right. Shay, you
Can I
want to
say
talk?
something?
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. Okay, thank you very much for the question. My greatest fear as a data analyst is oftentimes I overcommit myself because of my love for data analysis. So I tend to want to help out with every problem I come across, which sometimes may somehow affect my work. But of course, I'm learning and trying to work hard at that to ensure that that do not have much interference with my work. I ensure that I have all my tasks completed before I go ahead to delve into several other things. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. The first two people, you only mention your weakness. You do not talk about what you are doing about them. So when you ask about weakness, talk about a weakness and talk about what you are doing to fix that weakness. Very, very important. I think the last person talked about that. So self-awareness and willingness to improve. That's why they're asking you this question. They want to know if you have self-awareness and if you are working to improve that area. There's nobody that does not have a weakness. But what are you doing about it? That's what they want to know. So, example, mention a real weakness, but frame it positively. Show steps you are taking to improve. Example, I used to struggle with public speaking, but I have been actively working on it by attending workshops and presenting at meetings. It is still a work in progress, but I have seen significant improvement. Can you see? I struggle with public speaking, but I have been actively working on it by attending workshops, presenting at team meetings. It is still a work in progress, but I have seen significant improvement. And now it could be that you overwork yourself, you take on too much responsibility, and because of that, you don't deliver on time. So the step you are taking is you learn to prioritize tasks. So that's the step you are taking, and that has been helping you. Okay, Mike, you are raising your hand.
Yes, sir. I want to ask, is inability to multitask, that is, um, you kind of tend to focus on what you're doing, one um, one assignment at a time. Some people can do a lot of multitasking. Is inability to multitask, is it a weakness?
Okay, that's a good question. Um, People have different perspective about the question. Some believe that multitasking is a skill, that it is necessary. In fact, majority of people believe that you should be able to multitask. But there are few people that believe that multitasking is a weakness. You should focus on one thing per time. So that's why it's not a yes or no. It depends on the perspective of who you
The
are
role.
talking to. So, but I personally feel that when you say multitasking, maybe at work, they give you four things to do at once. Of course, you should prioritize which one is of more priority. Finish that one, then
Mm-hmm.
afterwards you do the other one.
Mm. Okay.
So I don't necessarily see lack of multitasking as a weakness per se. However,
Okay.
depending on the kind of job you are doing, if it's a job that you are expected to do more than one thing per time and you cannot multitask, you might not be a good fit for them. So that's why I said
Mm.
you yourself should know the company you want to work with. If you don't like multitasking and the company expects someone to be able to multitask, then you might not be a good fit, because by the time they hire you, they are giving you 5 things to do, and you are the type of person that like to work on one thing. If you are ready to improve on it and be multitasking, fine. But if you know that that will affect your productivity, then you have to let them know. So it's okay if they don't want to hire you because you will not meet what they want. That I feel that every job is not a do or die. And it doesn't mean that there's no room for improvement. If what the company wants, you don't have it, but you're willing to embrace it or scale up and do that, that's fine. But if it's something you know that you're not cut out for, then it's better to let them know upfront. So it's up to them to accept you and give you one task per time, or if you want to also scale up and juggle several tasks. But I don't see focus on one thing at a time as something bad. But like I said, people have different perspective about it. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
All
sir.
right. You're welcome. So question 5. Describe a challenge you faced and how you handle it. Describe a challenge you faced and how you handle it. We are up to 30 here and only 3 people are talking. Anybody want to answer? Describe a challenge you faced and how you handle it. Situations like this are part of way of building confidence. If you are sure that if you answer now, you will not answer well. At least I will not tell you how to answer well. But if you don't want to answer well, at interview, you still don't answer well, you are not helping yourself. It's better not to answer well here. Then you learn it, and at interview, you do it well. It's not just listening to me. You saying it, answering it is part of learning. It boosts your confidence. Yeah, Emanuela, go ahead. Finally.
Good evening, sir. Okay, all right. A challenge I faced. There was a time at work, my junior colleagues did an error in a test result, and then it got escalated. The company manager called in to complain about the results being different from the previous one that particular patient had done. It became an issue because when it comes to the issue of health, it's say someone is should now become HIV negative. And so the manager was really upset. And then even though the issue was not from my end, I needed to cover up, make the issue seem easier than how the session that was available, not blaming anybody and also trying to rectify the issue. So it took a lot of strength for me. There was so much pressure, but I made sure that I assured the customer that I was going to give them an opportunity where they get discounts and run the test over again just to confirm. I also pleaded with them to explain that human factor is inevitable in every organization, and this mix-up could have been from the back end while they field the information, not necessarily those that ran the test result. It was a lot because I needed to find the original copies of those results. It took me days trying to work on it, but I'm glad that I was able to manage the situation, convince the customer, and also not blame the junior colleagues. At the same time, bringing everybody to a point where I made them realize that when it comes to health, the health of people, you need to put in your best, concentrate, be attentive so that there are no errors. And I was also able to so that it doesn't see the bad trust for the organization. This really helped me a lot because my manager was really proud of me. And then I also built a relationship with the customer. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so
Yes,
let me
sir.
give you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My own challenge that I faced was when I resumed my job I noticed that some terminals were missing on my Oga's dashboard, like 1,000 terminals were missing. But once I resumed the work, my boss told me that I don't need to worry about the terminal because they were missing before I got the job. But as a data analyst, I was so curious that how can 1,000 terminals are missing? So I went to go and meet my superiors and asked them about the data. So from the data, I'm getting the terminals one after the other. So as we are talking today, I'm having just 10 missing terminal right now. I think as a data analyst, you have to be curious. So that curiosity brings us a lot. That's how I solve my challenges.
Yeah, that's a brilliant one. And we're slow to answer. You don't want us to learn from the experience.
Can I contribute?
Yeah, Mr. D.
Yes, sir. As a DevOps engineer, one of the problems I've faced before is the issue of inconsistent environment. So, in a situation whereby I deploy and the deployment failed, it could be as a result of inconsistent environment. And what I do is, depending on the case scenario, I could either implement the blue-green architecture, which is basically running two environments. One is the blue, the other is the green. The blue is where I maintain the previously working version, and the green is where I intend to deploy. So if I have a failure in deployment, I'm able to route traffic to the previous the blue environment, and then also I implement feature tags. I mean feature flags, which with that I'm able to maintain the visibility of new features. So in case there is a new problem, and I suspect that is as a result of the new feature, then I'm able to turn off the feature, even in production, without the end users noticing. Now, another issue relating to inconsistent environment could be as a result of the fact that uh, I needed to containerize. So if the developer is able to assure me that the software works perfectly on his laptop and is not working in production, then what I need to do may be to containerize the application. Therefore, by so doing, I'm able to have every um, um, plugins and other resources that the application needed to run in the container. So
Yeah, that's a brilliant one. Yeah, that's a good one. Both the three people that spoke, they really did justice to that. And I hope others are learning from them. So they want to know your problem solving skill and your resilience. That's why they're asking this question. So you can use the STAR approach, pick a situation, the task, the action you took, and the outcome. Focus on the professional challenge, not your personal challenge. So in my previous role, our team faced a critical bug in production. I took the lead in debugging the issue, collaborated with the DevOps team to deploy a fix, and implemented monitoring to prevent future occurrence. This reduced downtime by 50%. So we pick the situation, the task that was carried out, the action you took, and the outcome. So that can help. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Where are the 26 people? Anybody that want to address this, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? You can be asked this question. So how will you respond?
In 5 years, I see myself solving analytical issues, helping big business owners to make their own decision without even think awkward.
Okay, without thinking, I didn't hear that last part. Okay, so if you ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You can say, so the reason why they're asking you is they want to know your career goal. And they want to know whether that your career goal align with the company. So if you say, in 5 years time, I want to see, I see myself as having my own company similar to this company's zone. So they see that, oh, your career goal is to be a competitor in the long run. So show ambition, but keep it realistic. Be ambitious in your response. When you say ambitious, it means say something that shows that you seek growth, but be realistic about it. Tie your goal to the company's growth as well. Like I said, do you want to hire you? So they're asking, they want to see where you want to be in 5 years' time, align with the company's goal. So you can say something like, this is just an example. So tailor it to your own need. In 5 years' time, I see myself growing into a senior DevOps role, leading projects and mentoring junior team members. I am particularly excited about the opportunity to grow with your company and contributing to scaling your infrastructure. So you can see, ambitious because you want to be a senior role, leading projects, then mentoring junior ones. And you're excited because because of the opportunity to grow with the company. So I hope this answer help you understand how to handle question like this. Why should we hire you? I hope you have not snapped that one. Why should we hire you? Why should we hire you?
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I think you should hire me because I bring a wealth of experience to the table. I have 7 years experience as a DevOps engineer. The company where I work, I have been able to implement measures that I'm able to integrate security or DevSecOps into the pipelines. I'm able to uh, bring about security implementation in every phase of the pipeline, and therefore ensuring uh, that company software is secured and mitigating threats and being able to also bring about the skills of automation to ensure that tasks, repetitive tasks, are um, automated to save time and to also help teams concentrate on other important tasks. Um, I've been able to ensure that with my skills as a DevOps engineer and my ability to be a team player, we've been able to save company money by ensuring that our skills deliver faster time to market, collaboration, greater automation, um, and then improve overall customer satisfaction and so many other benefits that I'm able to bring aboard.
Yeah, that's a good one. My only observation is that you said, I think I should be hired. Avoid using the word think. Just say, go straight and say, I should be hired because then all the things you have said are valid. So I feel there's no need to say, I think. Rather, I should say, I should be hired because
Okay.
this and this and this and this. Because sometimes when you use the word think, it means you are not sure. Okay, so that's a brilliant one. So when you ask this question, why should we hire you? So what they want to know is your unique value proposition. What do you bring to the table? What is unique about you? What make you special? What make you different from other candidates? So highlight skills and experiences that match the job. So that's what you talk about your skill. That's what you talk about your experiences. Show enthusiasm for the role. Show that you are interested in the role. Example, you should hire me because I bring a strong combination of technical expertise in Python and machine learning, along with a proven track record of delivering actionable insights. My ability to communicate complex data to stakeholders set me apart, and I'm excited to bring that skill to your team. Again, you don't have to cry what I'm saying. It's just to give you an idea. So you can see how the competence are brought out and aligned to the growth of the organization. How do you handle tight deadline? How do you handle tight deadline? Anybody, how do you handle tight deadline?
Okay, can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, to handle for me, the way I handle tight deadlines, number one, I try to have schedules. So this way there's no procrastination because I know that at every time I know what I'm meant to do in order to meet up with the deadline. I also engage in teamwork, division of labor. If I have to work with people, I know that I'll split easier tasks to them so that I focus on more difficult things and then overseeing it to make sure that there are no errors. So that's like a double check of things so that we can meet the deadline. Because sometimes we are so engrossed in trying to do things ourselves that we are overwhelmed and don't meet deadline. Then another thing I do is that when I see that there's still so much to be done, I try to inform the client ahead or my boss that I need extra time, this and this happened. So it's always good to update them earlier than the deadline, probably days before, so that they are prepared. Yes, you've set an expectation. Then lastly, what I do for deadlines is that I try so hard to finish days before the deadline so that I have time to go over it again, share it with other people, have them review it and be sure. Then one thing that submitting projects on time does is that it gives people confidence in you. Then you've proven your worth and people feel like they can always depend on you.
All right, that's a good one. Mr. Olash, you wanted to say something?
Can I add one thing to what she just said?
You can say your own.
Okay. So to deal with deadlines, what I try to do is I estimate I kind of add more time to the estimate given. It's better to be to have more than enough time than not to have time enough. So if, for example, I believe that I can deliver the job in 2 weeks, I can estimate 3 weeks just to be on the safe side, for issues like for reasons for like testing, debugging, and things that may arise at the last minute. So I always try to give more than enough time than to not give enough, so that I'm not in a rush to deliver the project and then wind up making mistakes. And also to ensure that I deliver projects within a reasonable time frame. I always ensure that I do all my preparations ahead. I make sure that I have proper rest, and I also make sure that sometimes if I have to go beyond my comfort zone or my own personal time to devote to a project, it's not going to happen all the time. But there are times where I don't really mind, working extra hours on projects, so just to meet up with deadlines.
All right, that's a brilliant one. From the feedback from both of you, you assume that I'm saying you are in control of the deadline. I'm talking about a situation whereby your boss give you a task and say it should be done and be ready tomorrow. So you have a tight deadline to deliver. So I'm not saying you are the one saying, oh, it's supposed to take me 30 days. I'm giving them 40 days so that I can have extra time. That's not the situation I'm painting. But your feedback are brilliant. I'm just saying this scenario will be where you are given a tight schedule to deliver on what you need to do. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So if you are given
So,
something like that, how will you handle it?
in that kind of case, I would ensure that I communicate with my boss once I notice that I'm not going to be able to uh, deliver it at the specified time. I will try everything to avoid that. But if it happens that I can't, I will make sure let my boss know ahead of time that, hey, I don't think that deadline would, be feasible. And then we can talk about how to go about it.
Okay. Emmanuel, I want to add to that.
Hello, sir.
Okay, Mike, can go ahead.
If I have a very, very tight deadline, my first inclination would be to subdivide the team into smaller teams to handle different aspects of the job so that eventually we can all meet and every team presents and the whole group has an input into the assignment. If it's something that is very tight, one just has to find a way of delegating the job so that eventually everybody meets together, tidies it up, and it will be ready for submission on time. And also, every member of the team also has to put in a few extra hours to get the job done. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. So a good point, you might have to put in some extra work to ensure that the result is achieved. So yes, example of so time management and stress management skill, that's what they're trying to test. Show a structured approach of handling pressure and provide an example. So I prioritize tasks based on urgency and impact. There will be other tasks you need to attend to which might not be urgent but are important. Some might be important but they are not urgent. Some might not be important and they are not urgent. Some might be important and urgent. So you target the one that is urgent and important. So if I give a tight deadline, it means that that task is urgent and is important. So you give priority to that one at the expense of other one that might be important but not urgent. Then you break down large projects into manageable steps. For instance, during a critical product launch, I manage multiple deadlines by creating a detailed timeline and collaborating closely with the team, ensuring we deliver on time. So like she said, you have to collaborate with other team members to ensure that the task is done. So prioritizing is key because there will be other tasks that may have to be on hold. So you focus on the one that is urgent and of high impact, then you break it down, you bring up the team and so on. Go ahead. Okay, he's talking, for something else. So I hope the explanation is clear. So you prioritize tasks, you break them down, you involve the team, then you can give a scenario just like the one I described here. But just doesn't have to be this one. It can be another scenario. So just paint a scenario where you have an undo tight schedule, where things need to be done and how you carry it out. So they want to see how you manage time. Okay, do you have question for us? I've answered this already. So you can ask a thoughtful and specific questions. I have a question about salary or benefits in the first interview. So if the interview is stage by stage, um, if you can avoid the salary at stage one, fine. But if you feel that is important, you can go ahead. So what does others look like in this role? I've talked about this. The question you should ask them. Tell me about the team I'll be working with. What's the biggest challenge the team is having at the current moment? How does the company support professional development? So those are some of the questions you can ask. That's not all. You can ask another one you might have. So you also likely to be asked technical questions about data analytics, about DevOps, about cybersecurity, about software. So you might be asked such questions. So how do you clean messy data? You can be asked. Explain how you will set up a CI/CD pipeline. Write a function to reverse a list. How will you secure a web application against SQL injection? These are the questions they will ask you. Be clear and methodological in your explanation. Your explanation should not be vague and it should be, methodological. If you don't know the answer, explain how you approach finding a solution to it if you don't have answer already. So to clean a messy data, I will start by identifying missing values, removing duplicates, and standardizing the data. Then I will use tools like pandas in Python to automate the process. That's for those that are into data analytics. If you're into DevOps or whatever you are into, you can also break down, steps you are going to take. I think Mr. D said something similar when I asked him, the other question. So now, handle salary tactfully. There's no fast rule about, how to handle salary. So how much should we pay you? Before the interview, you should have done your own research. What role are you being hired for? Is it a junior role? Is it a mid-level role? Is it a senior role? The company, what's the company capacity like? Because how much MTN will pay you will not be the same amount a small business will pay you. So you have to factor that in. Then what's the extent of the work? Is it something that will be very tasking, Is it remote? Is it flexible? Or I have to report to the office every day? You have to, bear all of that in mind. So that if they ask about salary, one, you can ask them, their salary scale for that role. You don't willing to share it. If they're asking you at the beginning of the interview, you can say, okay, can we put this to a later time? Why we focus on, getting to know about the role first. By the time you now know about the role first, then you can now come back to the salary and let them know, your opinion about it. But I would advise you give a range. Don't give a fixed amount. Let's say in your mind, what you have in mind is 300K. It's just an example. Instead of you saying 300K, you can say between like 250 to 400K. So you can see you are not specific. So that's what I would recommend you do. So you give a range, but you must have research about it, about the pay for that role. So politely defer the conversation until you understand the role better. Because by the time you tell it at the beginning, by the time you get to know about the role, you might see that it's even more tedious than you imagine. And you have already agreed on how much they should pay you. But when you know about the role better, you can better, charge. Just like somebody wants to give a project to me or they want me to train. I won't follow tell them how much I'm going to charge. Oh, how many people am I training? Is it on site? Will I have to come to your office? If yes, and I have to charge more because of the time, the resources, and all of that. So all those things you need to clarify before you, agree on how much to be paid. So I'd like to learn more about the role and responsibility before discussing salary. Can we revisit this later? Then later, you must have already done your research before coming. Using LinkedIn, Glassdoor, PayScale, or I can use Google, Nairaland. So then at the end of the day, you give them a range, between this amount to this amount, so that you're not too low or you're not too high. Be ready for curveball questions. In some cases, they can ask you some unrelated questions. Example, if you were to be an animal, what type of animal will you be and why? They can ask you something like that. I look nonsensical or stupid. But I've seen it being asked at interview. Would you explain? Then they'll give you certain concepts to a 5-year-old. So they can say, can you explain CICD to a 5-year-old? Can you explain penetration testing to a 5-year-old? Can you explain data cleaning to a 5-year-old? They'll just pick something and say, explain it to a 5-year-old. They want to see how you can break down complex concepts in a layman, language. Or they can ask you what's your favorite programming language and why. So they can think creatively when you ask questions like this, and always tie your answer back to the skill, to the role, the personality. Be honest about what you don't know. I meant to write about. Be honest about what you don't know. So if you ask certain thing that you don't know, don't do as if you know it, because if you do as if you know it and you answer wrongly, you are shooting yourself in the leg. So admit you don't know the answer, but explain how you approach finding the solution. I am not familiar with that specific tool, but I am confident in my ability to learn quickly. I start by researching documentation about it and reaching out to colleagues for guidance. So if you ask certain things that maybe have you used Splunk before and you have not? If you say yes, okay, tell us your experience with it. You will not be able to talk. I'm not familiar with Splunk. However, I can always go to the documentation and get up to speed on how to use it. That already shows that you can quickly, learn it. As against lying that you know it and they now ask you further question and you're not able to answer, that will be much more devastating. All right. Any question for me? Any question before we wrap up? We'll do the how to use AI in another webinar. Any
All right, so
question
I
for
have
me?
a question, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so in applying after getting a role precisely, right, using data analytics for example. So the tools for like laptop and all of that, of course, I have mine. Is it required that I ask questions like, or is it their duty that they must provide me a laptop that I will use, or I'm supposed to ask? Or I will just leave it. Either they provide it, okay. If they don't provide it, I just use it.
Okay. Ideally, companies are meant to provide tools. Ideally, because if you're using your own tool, the confidential information of the company will be on your own personal laptop, which is not ideal. So they are meant to. But again, it depends on the structure of the organization, the size. If it's like a startup business, that are not, well funded, of course, you have to use your own laptop. But ideally, the company is meant to provide. If it's a remote job, some can even send you a laptop to use and all of that, set it up for you and all of that. So ideally, they should provide. But if they don't provide and you are expected to use your own, you can go ahead. So if you want to ask the question, there's no crime in it if you want to ask. But ideally, they are meant to provide. So you can just say, okay, I would like to know, though I have my own personal laptop, but if I'm given this role, will the company provide their own laptop or I'll be expected to use mine? There's nothing wrong in asking. So it's okay to ask. But ideally, the company is meant to provide. And if it's a small business, you might use your own laptop. Any other question?
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, now what if in a scenario like this they get to ask you a question such as, okay, let's assume 3 months into resuming this role with us, you get a job offer from another company offering probably the same role but a much higher salary. What are you going to do? So if, for example, I'm faced with that kind of a question, how can I answer it professionally? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. How I will answer that question is this. I'm passionate about working for your organization, and I believe with the research I make about your company as an organization that promotes integrity, excellence, and other things, I believe my effort and contribution will be well compensated for by the organization. So based on that, I'm willing to work for the organization for a long time because I believe the company also believe in win-win. So Based on that, I'm willing to stick with the company. I don't know if you get that.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Thank you very much.
You are communicating to them that I believe you will also compensate me well for my effort, and I'm willing to work with you. So I believe it's going to be a win-win. So you are not saying yes, you will go for that job, or no, you will not go for that job. You are saying as long as it's a win-win for both of us, you are willing to commit to the contract.
Okay, sir. That's for the interview. Okay, let's now assume one is faced with that kind of scenario in real life. What would you advise for someone to do?
Yeah, in real life, if you get a better offer and it's guaranteed that the offer will come, I would recommend you tell the new company that can you give me like a month for me to do a proper handover where I am at the moment. If the company is serious, they know that you respect where you are working. So then the company where you are working also, you let them know that, oh, in a month's time that you will be moving on because you need to advance, your career. So, but as much as possible, don't burn bridge. Let it be, let the going be mutually, let it be mutual. For example, don't abscond. I will not recommend that. I've seen people that abscond from work. For example, they pay them salary today and the next day they just don't show up again. That's not how you leave a company. So at least you let them know that, oh, in a month's time you'll be moving on. But for that month, you put in your best, you ensure you do all you need to do, and both of you can mutually shake hands and move on. So I would recommend you at least spend a month before you resign. As the salary is dropping, you're also sending them a letter that you have moved on. Because you might need them later.
Okay,
Maybe the company need to reach out to them about your performance while you are working with them. If you have gone, they will not speak well of you, and the other company might also later reject you. So you cannot go back and you cannot go forward to the new company.
okay. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the previous company, right?
Like I said, when you are terminating your contract with the company, let it be done in a understanding manner, as against just abruptly.
Okay.
Every company have their policy of when you are leaving the company, how long you should inform them. But I think on the average it should be a month notice. So they should have that in their terms and conditions. So if it's a month notice, you give them that 1 month notice. Any other question? Okay, if there's no other question, any contribution from your own years of experience you want to share with us?
Hello, good evening, sir. Mr. Wale.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you very much for this session. Really appreciate it. Mine is actually a question, not a contribution, please. So
Go ahead.
I want to know regarding tools, the data analysis tools, and you're joining an organization, and for the particular job, there are some specific tools which they have been making use of in the organization, and they want you to come and join in, but you are not familiar with those particular tools. But then the same job can also be used by alternative tools which you are particular about. So is there a way you can somehow bring it up to them during the interview? Let them be aware that, okay, maybe they don't know, but let them know that you can also do the job, but with the tools you are familiar with, and not the particular ones that they are expecting you to use to do the job.
All right, that's a good question. I said in the course of my session that don't be tied to a particular tool. Python, the company is using PHP. Be willing to adapt and learn PHP. One, that would be a plus for you because by the time you're leaving that company, you now know PHP and Python. Now, there's nothing wrong if you have your own tool that you prefer to use and they have their own and you can achieve the same result. If the company don't mind, for you to use the two that you prefer instead of their own. Example, Tableau and Power BI. You prefer to use Power BI, they prefer Tableau. If they don't insist, what they want is results, you can use the Power BI. But if they insist that no, you have to use Tableau because of the team you are working with are using Tableau. So they want the team to use the same thing. You should, to me, you should be able to, you should be willing to learn. Because Tableau and Power BI are similar. Python and R are similar. So mostly the two they want you to use, since you say you have your own version, how they work will not really be different. So you should be willing to learn their own tool if they insist that you should. But they don't insist, then you should let them know that, oh, I observed that you use Tableau. I use Power BI, which for social reason may even be more better than Tableau. So they might reason with you. Like you said, they might not be aware that there's a better tool, so you can let them know why your own tool is better. But if they insist that, oh, based on our this and this and this, we prefer our own tool, then I will recommend you should be willing to learn their own tool. But if they allow you to use your own, why not? Go ahead. Hope that answers your
Okay, sir.
question.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you
Yes.
very much, sir. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Any other question? All right, there's none, we'll draw the curtain here. So I believe we've gained one or two things from tonight's session. I'm looking at doing some people, but as soon as I confirm the date they will be available, I will communicate that to us. And if you have topics, areas you want us to also address, you can reach out to me. We'll look at it and we'll see what we can do about it. Yeah,
Mr.
Tosin, you're
Wale,
welcome. Yes.
sorry, I noticed in the thing you sent out, you said the session will not be recorded. I think it is. Is it possible we can get the audio so that some of us can listen to it and be able to process some things over, if it's possible?
I'll think about that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. If there's no other question, it's a pleasure having you all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and keep adding value to yourself and to your world. Have a lovely night rest.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Goodbye, sir.
Yeah, bye.